What's up, WrestleScope Nation? Before we dive into the chaos that just went down on Raw, let me ask you something. When does a legend finally snap? When does years of disrespect, mockery, and outright disgrace finally reach a boiling point? Well, folks, we just witnessed that exact moment, and the wrestling world will never be the same. Logan Paul thought he was untouchable. He strutted into Monday Night Raw like he owned the place, running his mouth about how he's revolutionized wrestling, how he's better than the legends who paved the way, and how no one, and I mean no one, can touch his level of stardom. But Rey Mysterio, the master of the 619, the man who's given everything to this business for over 3 decades, he had enough. And what happened next will make your blood boil, your heart race, and leave you screaming at your screen. Because Rey Mysterio didn't just confront Logan Paul, he slapped the influencer right out of him. And here's the part that's going to make you furious. Logan Paul absolutely deserved it. But what he did after that slap, that's what we need to talk about because it crosses a line that should never be crossed in professional wrestling. Let's rewind for a second because this wasn't just some random act of violence. This was weeks, no, months in the making, and if you haven't been paying attention, you've missed one of the most disrespectful storylines in recent WWE history. Logan Paul burst onto the WWE scene with the confidence of a man who thought he'd already conquered the industry. Sure, he's athletic. Sure, he's got the social media following. But here's what Logan Paul doesn't have: respect. Respect for the business, respect for the legends, respect for what it actually means to be a WWE superstar. Over the past several weeks, Logan has been on this insufferable campaign claiming that the old generation needs to step aside and let the new era take over. And who was at the top of his hit list? Rey Mysterio, the 619, the master of Lucha Libre, a man who's given everything to this business for over 3 decades. He had enough. And what happened next will make your blood boil, your heart race, and leave you screaming at your screen. Because Rey Mysterio didn't just confront Logan Paul, he slapped the influencer right out of him. And here's the part that's going to make you furious. Logan Paul absolutely deserved it, but what he did after that slap, that's what we need to talk about because it crosses a line that should never be crossed in professional wrestling. Let's rewind for a second because this wasn't just some random act of violence. This was weeks, no, months in the making. And if you haven't been paying attention, you've missed one of the most disrespectful storylines in recent WWE history. Logan Paul burst onto the WWE scene with the confidence of a man who thought he'd already conquered the industry. Sure, he's athletic. Sure, he's got the social media following. But here's what Logan Paul doesn't have: respect. Respect for the business, respect for the legends, respect for what it actually means to be a WWE superstar. Over the past several weeks, Logan has been on this insufferable campaign, claiming that the old generation needs to step aside and let the new era take over. And who was at the top of his hit list? Rey Mysterio, the 619, the master of Lucha Libre, a man who's given everything to this business for over 3 decades. He had enough. Fast forward to this week's episode of Raw. Logan Paul comes out during Rey Mysterio's segment, interrupting what was supposed to be a heartfelt moment where Rey was addressing the WWE Universe about his legacy and his future. The crowd was electric, chanting 619, 619, 619, and Rey was soaking it all in, appreciating every single fan who supported him throughout his legendary career. Then, Logan's music hits. The boos were deafening, and this man, with his phone in hand, literally filming himself, walks down to the ring with the most smug expression you've ever seen. He's laughing, he's waving, he's eating up the negative reaction like it's fuel for his ego. Logan grabs a microphone and says, and I quote, "Rey, is this really what we're doing? Having a retirement party for a guy who should have hung up his mask a decade ago. Nobody cares about your legacy, old man. Nobody's watching WWE to see you slowly fall apart in that ring. They're watching for me, for the views, for the content, for the future." The disrespect was palpable. You could feel the tension in that arena. Rey stood there, jaw clenched, fists balled up, trying to maintain his composure. But then Logan made his fatal mistake. He reached out and flicked Rey's mask. Not a push, not a shove, a flick, like Rey was some kind of joke, like his entire career, his culture, his legacy meant nothing. And that's when it happened. Crack! Rey Mysterio's hand connected with Logan Paul's face so hard that the sound echoed through the arena like a gunshot. Time seemed to freeze. Logan's head snapped to the side, his phone went flying across the ring, and the crowd, they erupted. The place went nuclear. Fans were on their feet, jumping, screaming, losing their minds. Logan stumbled backward, his hand on his cheek, his eyes wide with shock. For the first time since he stepped into WWE, Logan Paul looked vulnerable. He looked like what he really is, a kid who got in over his head and just got a reality check from a legend. But here's where things get really interesting, and this is what I need you to comment about down below because I want to know your take on this. After that slap, after being humiliated in front of millions of people watching around the world, Logan Paul did something that has the entire wrestling community divided right now. He didn't back down, he didn't leave the ring. Instead, he smiled, that same smug, infuriating smile, and he said, "Is that all you got, old man? You just assaulted me on live television. You just ended your career. My lawyers will be in touch. But you know what? I'll give you one chance to make this right. You and me, WrestleMania. I'm going to retire you permanently, and the whole world is going to watch the moment Rey Mysterio becomes irrelevant forever." Now here's where I need your opinion. On one hand, Logan is playing the heel perfectly. He's getting heat. He's making us want to see Rey destroy him at WrestleMania. That's good wrestling, right? But on the other hand, threatening legal action, bringing lawyers into a wrestling storyline, that's not heat, that's just cheap. It's lazy. It's using real-world threats to get attention instead of building a story the right way. This isn't just about Rey and Logan. This is about something bigger. This is about the clash between the old guard and the new generation. It's about respect for the business versus using wrestling as a stepping stone for social media clout. It's about whether someone can just walk into WWE with no respect for the history, the culture, and the legends who built this industry and demand to be treated like they're already a main eventer. Rey Mysterio has given everything to professional wrestling. He's worked through injuries that would have ended most careers. He's traveled the world representing WWE and Lucha Libre culture with honor and dignity. He's inspired countless wrestlers, Ricochet, Dominic Mysterio, even current superstars who grew up watching him, and he's earned every single accolade he's received. Logan Paul, he's talented, I'll give him that. His matches have been surprisingly good. But talent without respect means nothing in this business. And that slap from Rey Mysterio was not just Rey Mysterio the wrestler responding, it was Rey Mysterio the man, the father, the legend saying enough is enough. So, where do we go from here? If this is building to WrestleMania, we could be looking at one of the most emotionally charged matches in recent history. It's not just about winning or losing. It's about pride. It's about legacy. It's about proving that the legends still have what it takes to put these cocky newcomers in their place. But here's my concern, and I want you to weigh in on this in the comments. Can this storyline maintain its intensity without becoming too personal, without crossing lines that make fans uncomfortable? Because there's a fine line between compelling television and exploitation, and WWE needs to tread carefully here. I also want to know, are you Team Rey or Team Logan? And before you jump to the obvious answer, hear me out. Logan Paul, as much as we hate to admit it, has brought eyes to WWE. His matches with The Miz, with Roman Reigns, they've drawn attention from people who might never have watched wrestling before. Is that worth the disrespect? Is that worth the shortcuts? Or does the wrestling business mean more than just ratings and social media metrics? This moment on Raw represents something we've seen time and time again throughout wrestling history. The young lion challenging the veteran, the outsider trying to prove they belong, but what makes this different is the platform. Logan Paul has 23 million YouTube subscribers. He has a massive megaphone to control the narrative outside of WWE's ecosystem. That gives him power that previous generations never had. But here's what Logan Paul doesn't understand. In wrestling, your legacy isn't built on social media. It's built in that ring. It's built on the respect of your peers. It's built on the trust of the fans. And right now, Logan Paul has athleticism and attention, but he doesn't have respect. And that slap from Rey Mysterio was a wake-up call that respect isn't given, it's earned.
So, WrestleScope Nation, what do we make of all this? Rey Mysterio just laid down the LAW on Monday Night Raw, reminding everyone why he's the legend. But Logan Paul fired back with a WrestleMania challenge that could define both of their legacies moving forward. This is the kind of storytelling that wrestling needs right now. Real emotion, real stakes, real consequences. Whether you love Logan Paul or you can't stand him, you have to admit he's got people talking. And Rey Mysterio? He just proved that legends never fade. They just wait for the perfect moment to remind you why they're legends in the first place. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me. Number 1. Did Rey Mysterio do the right thing by slapping Logan Paul, or did he fall into Logan's trap? Number 2. Do you want to see this match at WrestleMania, and if so, who should win? Number 3. Is Logan Paul good for WWE's future, or is he disrespecting everything that makes wrestling special? If you enjoyed this breakdown of the craziest moment on Raw this week, smash that like button. It helps us more than you know and tells YouTube to show this video to even more wrestling fans who need to see what went down. And if you're not already subscribed to WrestleScope, what are you waiting for? We're bringing you the best wrestling analysis, news, and breakdowns every single week. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of wrestling madness. Drop your comments below, share this video with your wrestling friends who need to see Rey Mysterio's epic response, and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, this is WrestleScope, reminding you that in wrestling, respect isn't optional, it's everything.